Hey everyone, welcome to the feature tour. Market just closed, so some people are going to be filling in, but if you could, please let me know if everything sounds all right. I guess in the meantime, one thing I'll do is switch to light theme. Hey everyone, welcome to the feature tour. Oops. That'll be more visible for you. All right. Sounds good. Sounds fine. All right, that's the lag we're working with. I don't know how long that is. Okay, looks like we got about 40 people. We'll go ahead and get started. So, welcome. This is an exciting update. It's been a long time, probably the longest it's been between updates for us. Yeah, we're really excited to announce it. Most of the features are included on the release notes, so I'll just be walking through these one by one. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. This is the page right here. So if you want to follow along, please do. We have the light screen. Yeah, so here we go. Everyone knows the new trade signals. Pete's been talking about it in the chat. So we're not going to go over that, except to say that it includes 1OP. We've had a few questions about that, along with quite a few other indicators to be above my pay grade. But Pete's been working on it for years now and is very excited to have it in there. It includes exit arrows, which is one thing to note, which is new compared to the previous versions. And those will appear as blanks in the columns when you're showing trade signals as columns on your lists, such as the watch list, and this is the chart HUD right here, which is a single row list. Same with the scanners. But I'm going to go through, like I said, the release notes here. If you have any questions, throw them up in the chat. I'll try to respond to them, but let's not make this any kind of tech support or feature request session. We'll just try to keep to the program. So aside from the trade signal logic, the main new addition are the keyboard shortcuts. You can find them up in the File menu of OSP. So what we've done here is we've made it so using function keys or any key combination with a control key, you can perform certain actions straight from the keyboard. Should be a lot faster for the power users. A lot of them have to do with alerts and charts for now. We could add more, but yeah, that's worth noting. You can see you can create a new alert, trend line alerts, and then set alert templates, which I'll show you. So first off, we could bind Control1 here, and let's bind Control2 just to keep it simple, and Control3 here, and we'll go through those one by one. So a new alert refers to this create new alert window. You can reach that normally right here. And you can see, you can fill everything out. When the chart is selected, Control1, it has SPY, which is nice. Control2 will give us the trend line alert. So you can see here I'm creating a trend line alert. And Control3 will create a new alert from the template. So what is that? You can see it pre-fills the notes, the symbols, and the rules. All things you would normally do manually. But if you set a template here, as I've done, made it 2 little dummy ones for you guys, it'll call those up. So we have them indexed one by one. You can create them, reorder them, and clean them up. So if we wanted to reorder them, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can just drag them. And what that does is it makes sure that these key bindings are attached to the appropriate alert template. We've given you 10, so that should be plenty for you to get through. But this should make setting alerts far easier. I know a lot of you have certain conditions you act as confirmation, and many of those are combinations of several things. And as you know, with these server-side alerts, they only trigger if all the conditions are satisfied. So it's a great way to enter and exit trades, keep things on your radar without having to track them. So yeah, that's custom keyboard shortcuts on the alert side. And if we go back to charts, everything else is pretty self-explanatory. So you can switch the chart to candlestick or Heikin-Ashi. You can show and hide indicators and drawings. Draw a trend line, a snap trend line, and a horizontal line. These are just normal drawings, not alerts. Add an AVWAP, which will allow you to begin clicking to anchor. A custom AVWAP. Tag a symbol, as you would here. Show scanners, which would show all the scanners that the current selected chart or symbol, is on. Let's do that now. Oops. So show scanners with SPY, you can see it's now a right-click menu. And no scanners are showing SPY at the moment. Let's see what if we go to Apple. Here you go. So it's on Pop plus Bull and pre-gainers right now. It's a nice little feature. You can now reach it via keyboard shortcuts. Show, hide 1OTL now and balance, and load chart templates similar to alert templates. If you have a few different ways you like your charts set up, you can quickly toggle between them. Let's, I don't know, let's just add this. And just add VWAP here. Oh yeah, while we're at it, I was just adding a few indicators for you guys so you can see how show and hide indicators works. But we did add ATR bands and standard deviation bands, what you're accustomed to. So if you want those on your charts, there they are. And hiding indicators here shows and hides them. One of the nice features we added while we're speaking about it, let's say we put 10P up, and you can see 10P has its own lower indicator pane. When you hide, normally it hides the whole pane, which causes the candlesticks to shift a little bit. Some people didn't like that, so at user request, we added a setting here. Oh, maybe I'm finding the wrong spot. So in chart settings, yeah, keep hidden indicator panels is an option you can check. And when active, when you hide, that pane stays where it is. Your price action doesn't shift around. Makes it a little bit easier, which I kind of like. Yeah, so those are our keyboard shortcuts. Other ones worth noting, I'm just gonna see if I can drop them in the chat. Well, no, this is what I'll do. Notepad. There's some bugs. This is what we deal with when we're trying to fix OSP. So these are the standard default keyboard shortcuts. Something I just wanted to show you guys. We'll have this on the manual somewhere easy. But yeah, as you know, typing A to Z on a chart lets you select a new symbol. Typing 0 through 9 lets you bring up the same window but change the time frame. That's what's selected. We also have added control, what is that, / and shift /. So you can control / to bring up the add chart study window. And this is selected so you can begin searching like exponential moving average, double click. it adds it. And then you can, well, it looks like it's white, probably because, yeah, there it is. I was on dark theme. And then you can shift forward space to bring up the remove, and there it goes. What else? Plus and minus to zoom in and out, 1 bar. Shift and plus and minus to zoom in and out, 10 bars, a little faster. Control R to refresh the chart. Caps lock toggles crosshair. I'll show you those two real quick. Control R will just refresh the chart. Nothing happens here, but if there was an issue, it would help you see it. Caps lock activates the crosshairs, which is nice, especially if you have multiple panes. It'll keep caps lock activated or deactivated, crosshairs activated or deactivated on all your charts at once. All right. Oh, I lost Notepad. Up and down arrow changes the Y scale. So what is that? Y scale is this here. I guess up and down, yeah, can condense that for you if visually the candles look too extended or compressed. And then double clicking the Y-axis returns it to default. And I guess we could talk about that right now. So from chart settings, what is default? Default is set by your top and bottom margins on the main panel, not the lower panels. Those are your indicators like this one. I like to have a little bit of margin and make sure that the candles never get in the way of your legend here. I find it also psychologically might make a difference. I don't know. Feels like there's a little room up here. Tells me the potential for the price action. But more importantly, it's good to have some margins so you don't have anything conflicting with the legend here, obscuring your view. And the same thing goes with the lower panels. I'd like to just put it on the top there. That makes sure that any 1OP action right here, you see, it never quite gets to the legend, which is a nice feature. And while we're at it, when you do drag this, what you do is you turn the chart into free mode. This is something quite common now on most charting platforms. So if you double click it, it's in default. You only can drag left and right, and the chart sizes the candles automatically. So the highest price is closest to the top margin and vice versa. But if you were to drag, you then set it so it's no longer automatic, and you can drag on your own. This was a pretty big change. We have a great developer, Carter, working with us on our library here, SCX, which is what we use for charting, and we've customized it quite a bit for you guys at user request, actually. I think that one was for one of the mods, Trader Joe. Yeah, so dragging vertically anywhere and then double click resets it. And we can go over these other settings while we're on the charts here. We have right margin. It sets this little bit of area. The intervals between the numbers on the y-axis and the font size. Line colors and text colors. Background color, if you want it slightly different. I know a lot of people don't love straight black. It's hard on their eyes. So on dark theme, you can adjust it to a gray that suits you. Zero line color for the lower indicator panels, grids, scale, which we normally stick with log, especially for the D1. Keep hidden indicator panels, we mentioned. And yeah, this is new. So show ticker details watermark. So let's add that. The color, we're setting it to a light gray. Let's see if it shows up. Yeah, there it is. So if we get everything out of the way, you can see it shows the ticker, company name, sector, and I believe that's the industry. So this will be there for you. There you go. kind of makes the charts look nice. All right, so what else? And if you guys have any questions on the charts or anything we just mentioned, please let me know. Pete says he's excited to watch this. Go Will. Thanks, Pete. Thanks for making this happen. It's a great piece of software. Oh, and I know that the screen isn't going full width. My monitor is slightly different than YouTube defaults, and we rushed it, so we'll stick with it for now. Value specific lines, study colors. Right. So when you add real relative strength, for instance, you can see the study is green up top, red below. Everyone's excited about that. It helps seeing at a glance what the current real relative strength is. And we're using this on RRS and 10 SI. We could add it to more studies, so let us know. There's a suggestion box in the chat room, as you all know. We love getting the information there. It keeps it centralized. We're pretty good at keeping up with it. We do have other things we're focused on, and we do have a bit of a backlog. There are some requests that are a little bit bigger or, might not be as important for most people that we haven't gotten to, but I promise we're getting to them as soon as we can. We really like this dynamic between us, the software developers, and the community. We like the idea of building this as much in your image as we can, so it's something as unique and specific to your needs as traders of real relative strength of this particular trading strategy. So that's the niche we can carve out, and we're committed to that. So keep the suggestions coming, and we'll get to them. All right, what else? Extended hours background color. So when you have extended hours selected here, again, this is a change by Carter. We've enabled the ability to add overlay color on our charts, which we will probably use more down the line. This is a quick, dirty, easy way to use it, and it makes it easy for you to see the start and end of the extended hours periods. In chart settings here, we didn't quite make it to crosshair color. So yeah, let's change the color. Make it something, how about something loud? Let's do something like that. You have a transparency bar on the bottom here that works too. And I'll press caps lock. Yeah, pretty cool. All right, custom search ranges. Right, so we have new earnings filter, no prior earnings, and a second selector for range specification in all earnings filters. All right, that's a mouthful. So here in custom search, which if you're new to us and you're just watching this video for one of the first times or early on your journey with one option, custom search is our main scanner. It's how we find our stocks. And what you see here are all the conditions, the ways in which you can filter the universe of stocks down to something specific you're looking for, if you're looking for a particular setup or a particular type of trade. So what we're discussing now is in the earnings section at the bottom here. These are earnings specific variables. We added no prior earnings within, no prior earnings, yeah, right here. And we made sure these are all ranges. So you can set a beginning and the end rather than just a single date. A little more specificity. What else do we do with custom search while we're here? Right, so we added set as defaults. You might have noticed that when I opened up custom search, price was already set to 5 and active with average volume above, what is that, 100,000? So if let's say we want to keep our defaults above 10 and 1 million, we can click set as defaults here. It should save what we're looking for. This means next time we open it up, yeah, it remembers what we set. Saves you from having to do too many extra clicks while you're working day in and day out. I know everyone is in and out of custom search all the time while they're trading. It's one less thing to do. Yeah, I mean, we can mention these few things. There's ways in which you can clear the upper and clear the lower Any one that's directional can be automatically flipped. You can export your symbols, so if you get a bunch of results here, you can click export and export them to a custom alert. And you can save the scanner. So when they're saved under custom here. Here's basic, which is pretty cool. Yeah, all right, moving on. So study visibility toggle we mentioned, symbol scanner query we mentioned, the way in which you can see what symbol, or sorry, what scanner a symbol is on. So you can do it on both the chart with a right click, or you could do it on any of your lists. Let's find something a little bit more. Yeah, so there you go. So this is telling us that on a bunch of these scanners over here, we're finding NVIDIA. All of them negative. So definitely a bearish direction here. Okay, moving on to other updates in release notes. We'll stick with alerts for now. So there's now an exit alert option for trade signal alerts. This lets you get alerts on trade signal exits as well. So you can see these exit arrows here. Since we added them, we decided to add the ability to let you get alerts on that as well. So if you were to create an alert and go down to trade signal, alert on a buy, sell, or exit is now possible. And you can determine which time frame, add it, and save, and now you have an alert. We've had a couple users mention a little bit of difficulty on that. This is, again, a brand new release we made public on Monday, I think. That's right, Pete. And yeah, so we've had a few users mention that that isn't working, so we're going to be double checking it. We put a new update in just this afternoon, and we'll be testing it tomorrow, August 30th. So keep that in mind. But yeah, it's a great new feature. It'll give you a lot more power. If you're using the trade signals a lot, it'll help you get an alert when you're ready to get out of a trade. We have add alerts from alert templates via right click on lists and charts. So just like you can add a template from the keyboard shortcuts, these templates here, you can also do it via right click like this. So on lists and charts, scan for an inside day. I'm not sure, Ali. I think we have outside day. I'm not sure if that's a full scanner variable though. It's a column variable. And so, yeah. So the question is, can we scan for an inside day? We have new high and low of day, and we do have, this is why Ali's asking, we have outside day as a column option. So if you right click any of your lists at the header, you can edit the columns. We're going to add outside day. And when you hover over this, you can see what the rule is via tooltip. So this will show a green dot if it's above prior day high and a red dot if it's below prior day low. So obviously we have this information. If it were null, presumably, if it was empty, that means it's an inside day. So it might be an easy one we can add, Ali, but like I said, let's keep suggestions elsewhere for today. Taylor asks, when you set an alert, is there a way to combine and or operations? Right. Yeah, we just were talking about this earlier this week. It might have even been yesterday. And it's on our pipeline, so we're thinking about it. It might be, in fact, a solution to one of the problems we've been having. So I would say it's really likely that we'll see that, especially for alerts. Somebody else was asking the same for custom search. That might be a bigger project down the line, but yeah, for alerts, I think that's possible. We'll get to it. Right now, what's right ahead of us is the Schwab API and some other performance things on the back end. So bear with us. Nothing super new feature-wise is going to come out very soon. We're just going to be knocking out bugs, making sure everything's really clean for you guys, and getting those two things out. All right, what else? Right-click trend lines to create trend line alerts. So yeah, if we were to create a trend line, just the drawing itself, right? This is distinct from the trend line alerts, which do both automatically. You can now right-click them to create, and it will convert it. You can see the color changes. And you can change it to manual. We'll just go ahead and delete it. But if you're one of those users that likes to set trend lines often, and it makes sense not to have an alert on every trend line, so using this trend line feature, especially in conjunction with the ease of creating them using the keyboard shortcuts, which is, remember, draw a trend line right here, lets you have a bunch of lines on your charts, and then, yeah, when price gets close enough to it and you're ready to set an alert, you can do that via right click. Moving on, we have show trend line alerts, the end of day and good to cancel alerts in the alert console. Right, so this is your alert console here. This shows you all your live and triggered alerts depending on your settings. You can see at one point, remove once triggered was not selected, so I have a bunch of triggered ones here. We can just remove those triggers. So this houses all your live alerts with this current configuration. And now we have trendline alerts appearing down there. You're probably asking why weren't they there? Well, because there's two types of alerts. We have alerts that use real-time data, like the trendline alerts. Those ones subscribe, quote unquote, subscribe to the data you receive from your broker API. And then we have server-side alerts, which are everything else that you create when you're inside this new alert window here. These are server-side alerts because they reference server-side values, values that our servers are calculating and your alerts are checking against to see if they're true. Initially, only those server alerts showed up down here in the alert console. Now we have both the alerts from the server and those from the trend lines down here, just to keep everything clean. FYI, this 0 out of 100 is referring just to server-side alerts. This isn't a bug that we have a open trendline alert and we don't have a 1 right here. It's actually intended that way because we need to set some quota for the number of alerts you can set. Otherwise, yeah, we could have problems with performance. Tab key support in create new alert window for mouse-free alert creation. So you can see when you open create new alert, the cursor is there in symbols. So if we wanted to say spy and click tab, it continues on like you'd expect. You can set that, set tab again, press down to select the one we want, press tab again, press, I believe, return to select the one you want, return, tab again to go to plus, return to add it. We could even, you can see the selectors over the X right there. We could even delete that. And then we can save it. All right. Right-click table header to create alert, opens new alert dialog pre-filled with all list symbols. So here we have a list with 5 symbols. If we right-click create an alert, it's going to pre-fill for all of them. This will be especially helpful for users that use scanners. So imagine, let's say you have a custom search. We can go into the basic here. And yeah, I mean, we could look for those that are bearish on the M5 trade signal, scan for them, save the scanner as basic. And then I guess we could say, hey, create an alert when trade signal goes by on the 5-minute. That might be something you would do. Yeah, so you can see that's quite powerful. right-click chart, create price alert, pre-fills price at click. Right, another one. So, if we were to turn on the crosshairs, you can see the price is at 703.78. Right-click, create price alert, 703.78 is pre-filled. So that's a bit what you'd expect. It's just something nice that we hadn't added quite yet. You can see the greater than, less than signal is pre-filled as well, depending on where the current price is. Save. Right-click SMAs, similarly quickly create SMA alerts. So, we have SMA 200 here, create an SMA alert. So when it crosses below the 200. So this is a great example of the type of stuff we do just because of the way we trade. If we were trying to create a platform for everybody, we couldn't make we couldn't make features like these, but because we're all trading the same way, we all have SMA 200s on our daily charts because we know that's a really common thing to see for most traders, and we're playing that expectation. Yeah, we can add little quality of life features like this. Same thing goes with the horizontal line, which is a relatively new feature. So you can see here from the toolbar, this horizontal line lets you create support and resistance lines. And you can turn this into either a server-side price alert, or if it's more time sensitive, you could turn it into a trend line alert, use some of your real-time quota. And then alert notes. Yeah, you already saw this. We put notes back in here. So when you do fill your notes, they show up down here in the alert console. And I believe they should show up on the, excuse me, on the pop-ups as well. A minute while we're down here at the alert console. You can control sounds, pop-ups, Eastern time, remove once triggered, and reset either those that are selected and remove them, or those that are triggered, or all. Keep in mind that that little gearbox is there, and it's not in the alert history. I find a lot of support questions about that one. Okay, what else? Moving on to lists. So yeah, let's go ahead and edit columns again. We know trade signals have dots on them. So there you go. And now when you click, you can sort by those dots. It's a nice feature. It's the same as you'd expect elsewhere. We have no ETF filter added to sector analysis. So sector analysis shows us sector, the industry, and then we have the symbols within what's selected up here. It's just a normal list like you have in your scanners and your watch lists with a filter. And we can set no to ETF, so the results will not include ETFs. We have right-click row dialog that lets you delete the selected symbol. Yeah, another thing you'd expect. Delete. Right-click LRSI state column can be used to quickly create LRSI alerts. So, just like you can right-click this to create an alert, and it'll pre-fill the selected column. And since I did it on the single row, it only filled the single symbol rather than doing it on the header, which would do the entire list. If we were to add LSRI state, which we'll hover over, is similar to LSRI, but with hollow. This one doesn't have its own alert. It's just referencing now the LRSI alert. So it pre-fills it for you if you click on that column. Bell alert button added to scanner on watch list toolbar creates new alert window. So now you can just click this here and it pre-fills with everything, just like on the header. Oh, I should have said that earlier. Yeah, just like on the header, it pre-fills with everything. All right, moving on to the chart. What else? Open, high, low, close, legend values are now in the legend of the main chart area. Another thing you'd expect, it used to just be price. Now we include that, and it's showing that for the latest bars, so you can see it change as you proceed. We've added legend number commas, so these are larger numbers now have commas in them to make them more legible. And what else formatting wise? I think we also limited this to 2 decimal points. It was at 3 before, which was unnecessary. As I mentioned with VWAP, we have standard deviation and ATR bands. So one is using, I believe, a 10 or 20 period ATR. And then, yeah, the other is just standard statistical single deviation bars. So if you were to add a VWAP-E, there's a standard deviation. What else? Let me go ahead and remove those. Oh yeah, we've added AVWAP-E and Q intraday lines. So what are intraday lines? I'll use the keyboard shortcut, Control / to add chart studies. Begin typing intraday lines. These add lines on your intraday charts for specific price points on the D1 charts. So AVWAP-E and AVWAP-Q, we throw them on the D1 charts mostly, and we're wondering where those are. When we're on intraday charts, now we can see that as a horizontal line. I guess we'll have to find well, let's not waste time looking for it. You guys know what that is. If we added AVWAP-Q and we found a ticker that's nearby, all right, let's just use this. Or did I do E? There it is. Same price point as you saw on the daily chart. All right. Lower indicator panel margins. Oh, snap. It's almost 340. We mentioned that, so we have margins down there. Custom indicator reference line color. We mentioned that, so you can change the blue line here, the 0 line. Dashed line style options. Oh yeah, so you can edit and use a dashed line if you prefer that. Hide studies function, we mentioned this. Keep indicator panes, we mentioned that. And hide drawings function. So this is currently only a keyboard shortcut to hide your drawings. So if we were to add a drawing and say Control 4, we'll show and hide those. All right, moving on. General, now compiled in 64-bit. Yeah, that should help some performance. We've added link group to alert console and history. So what is link group? It's this way of linking charts to different panels. We've had that for a while now up here on your watch list and scanner. And we've added that to alert console and custom search, which is right here. Set defaults button we mentioned, remove tradier paper trading. That was deprecated because of limited features on Tradier's side. We do have the M1 timeframe reinstated for IB Interactive Broker users. We mentioned 2-digit legend values, show ticker details in chart header. Right, so what is that? This is app settings, similar to chart settings, but for the app at large. You can auto save and load your workspace, clear tags on a new day, show the status bar at the bottom here, which is this data server thing. Leave triggered alert lines on the chart, as we mentioned with trend line alerts. What else? Mark, is there a way to overlay multiple lower indicators in the same indicator window, like for instance, multiple stochastics, each with different settings? I haven't tried it with stochastics, and I'm going to try to keep this under an hour mark. So yeah, you can test that out after letting me show you how to drag things. I'll do one right now and open up a support tomorrow and let me know how it goes. To overlay them, you can just click one and drag it over the other, like that. It's pretty straightforward. You can see because the values on 1OP are so large and our real relative strength are so small, real relative strength is basically a line. So better to do would be to add two similar studies, like, I don't know, let's see if it works with LRSI. So we can drag real relative strength, over LRSI. And we just discovered something to change. The colors were lost. But you get the idea. For something like stochastics that don't have specific colors like that, yeah, you should be able to do it. But let me know how it goes tomorrow. It's as simple as dragging. So where was I? Show ticker details on chart header. Settings. Show ticker details on chart header. When selected, will show these details in the chart header. This was how we used to have it by default. So I just refreshed the chart using Control R and it appeared. The reason we decided to make it an optional is because if you had multiple charts like this, tabbed, so I'm dragging this panel over the center, and it's placing two tabs here. Depending on the ticker selected, this can be a very long tab. So when deselected and refresh, it should shorten these. Yeah, a little bit more manageable. What else do we have? Comma delineated copy symbols. So if we comma delineate them, and I think if we do here, copy symbols, it'll still make sure that when pasted, yeah, they include a comma. Otherwise, they contain a new line. And I know you guys use other list platforms and things. This will help you interface between OSP and other applications. Okay, that completes it as far as I know for OSP. So if you guys have any questions, please throw them up about what we mentioned. And I'm gonna slowly begin moving over to Option Stalker Web. There's some exciting things there too. So I'll give you guys a few minutes while I think about what else I could have forgotten. Default keyboard shortcuts. Oh yeah, there are some Mac versions to these keyboard shortcuts that I mentioned earlier because the keyboards are slightly different. But you can do a quick Google search to find what they are. Do we have? No, we don't have keyboard shortcuts to switch tabs yet, Peter, but that's a nice one. I promise I've mentioned everything. So when it comes to new features, I'll try to remember that, but if you get a chance, throw it in the suggestion box. Oh yeah, course dashboard and glossary. That'll be a good little interim update. So if nobody else has any questions, slowly while I give you guys a chance, we'll go over to, here's the release notes. We just went through everything as far as I know. We're kind of moving on to Option Stalker Web here. And what am I gonna do? What I'm trying to show you guys now is that we added this course dashboard. You can reach it from your account dashboard. And it gives you, this is for the system. This is the course that Pete has been developing and will likely turn into a book in the next year or two. You can track your progress now with lessons completed, session-specific progress, the next lesson, basic course information, recently created articles or revised articles, Pete, some resources, and this is a little quiz to show you what we have planned. We're going to do some little quiz reviews at the end of each lesson. Wow, I'm guessing wrong here. There we go, we got one correct. This will help you guys review. So yeah, use the course dashboard. You can reach it from your account dashboard. The other relatively new feature, right, in release notes, we have a glossary here where we define pre-configured scanners, scanner variables, indicators, and each one has a little, I guess you call this tag, describing it. Some of them you can hover over for explanation, and all of them can be clicked to learn about them. So check those out, and since nobody else has questions, we'll just move on. Option Stalker. Where are we going here? All right, so I need to go over to Mac's side here. Can you guys see this okay? I think you should, looks like it. So on Option Stalker Web, the main thing we've added is overall the thing looks a little bit fresher. It's been a minute, and we made lists a little bit more compact over here. And to make things consistent, we made buttons this same kind of slightly bluish with a blue border everywhere. That way you can easily find buttons that's clickable. Yeah, and we added custom indicators. So if you go over, thanks Luke, if you go over to custom indicators here in the chart settings, you can add one. You can see this pink line was just added. It's a simple moving or an exponential moving. We're taking it slow because Option Stalker Web is really the essentials. It's everything and just the things you need in order to trade relative strength and weakness. But this gives you a little bit more flexibility, so you can change the period and settings, including the color, the opacity, and the time frames it's visible. And then save. And there it adds right here where you can edit those settings or delete the indicator. So that's one of the main big changes, but like we did before, since we're on the charts, we might as well go through these. We have chart settings include the logarithmic scale versus linear scale. Background color is also new. If you like something slightly grayer for your eyes, we could do that. I'm a black guy, so we'll go there. The directional colors, these change the green and red used to indicate direction, including for the candlesticks. I don't know, you can get like cyberpunk or something with some pink like that. And you can always reset it by just clicking the reset there. Legend, whether or not you can show labels. Dual indicator setup, we have a dual indicator here, so these two are both visible. When deactivated, it would be a slider, which is a little bit better for mobile if you have limited screen. Eastern time zone, auto load historical data, you guys want to just keep that active. When deactivated, if you were to scroll back in time, it would not automatically load more data. That's helpful for chart loading for some people. And then we have reset dimensions. If somehow things get cropped, you can click this anytime and the page will just reload with the correct dimensions. And then system indicators. So you can edit all of these just like you would the custom indicators. Here's 1OP, real relative strength, the top and bottom color, trade signals, EMA, LRSI, daily SMAs, SPY overlay if active, and VWAP. Those are the indicators we use for the system, quote unquote. These are, again, the essentials for trading relative strength and weakness. And we have, finally, link group. So what is that? We select it blue, just like we do on Option Stalker Pro. And over here, we have another window in your browser. And since this one's also blue, this means if you click it'll change your other charts. So we're linking two different charts to one watch list in this case. That's the same watch list we had in Option Stalker Pro because it's synced over there. And when I click on the list, the charts change. You can see they're loading cached data, and then the loading symbol at the top here tells us it's checking if there's more. And similar to Option Stalker Pro, if you can use your arrows. I have the chart here selected. These arrows change, and it's changing the selected row over here. So loving this feature, much needed. It makes Option Stalker Web far more usable, especially on desktop. I have a daily chart here, a 5-minute here, and honestly, this is everything you need. So you can trade this way from your work computer or from your laptop while traveling. What else? Enhanced filters and sorting. So we have a filter button here. We've added a price filter that goes with the exclude filter. So we can exclude SPY, apply the filter, it's hidden. Sorting also is enhanced. By enhanced, I mean it's quickly responsive. It doesn't require any page loads. Custom chart background, Heiken Ashi candles. If you click that, you can quickly toggle between the two. And yes, I've thought of it. We can add a keyboard shortcut to make that happen. And a copy symbols delimiter. If you copy the symbols, it will delimit it based on what's selected in the settings here. So I'm sticking with comma. And like I mentioned, general cosmetic improvements. So that completes the tour, I think. Pete can chime in if he's still around, or anyone else with any other questions. Let me know. I'll give you guys another 5 minutes. I'll hang around until 4 my time. And yeah, well, we're really excited to show you these things. We're excited to get more improvements out. We love the dynamic of getting you guys new, fresh software as soon as possible. And already we're moving on to the next thing. So be on the lookout for more updates very, very soon. Yeah, this is Option Stalker and Option Stalker Pro. I'll wait until the lag and see if anybody else has any questions. In the meantime, be sure to check release notes, like we mentioned. I'll put this video up here. And yeah, well, I'll make sure now that we have all these updates and Option Stalker Pro looks different, I'll make sure that both manuals here have all these features included. So going forward, check release notes. This will be the latest stuff, especially if you don't want to shuffle through the longer manuals, but we will be keeping them up to date going forward for you guys. And if you need anything, we're always at the end of support. It's one of the fun things Pete and I can do while we're working on everything else. And it's fun to chat with you guys, so yeah, stop by and say hello. All right, looks like everyone's good. Oh, how to import and export tickers. Mark, to import and export tickers, yeah, Pete, I do try to consider everybody's suggestion. Import and export tickers. I believe you're thinking about how to copy symbols. That would be the easiest way to do it. So I've just copied all of the symbols there, Mark. But if I'm not understanding you, send me an email. We'll figure it out.